So I just watched through Live and Let Die, and so firstly I want to say I do like the main theme of it. I mean, I've always been aware of the theme and I'm quite familiar with it, but I suppose actually hearing it in full and from the movie itself, I do feel that the theme has aged quite well. It's got a very nice melody and overall it's got quite an interesting tone to the whole theme really. And that kind of translates to the movie itself. So the movie overall I found it not necessarily boring, but just kind of dragged on a bit at certain points, and it had a very kind of serious but also like a comedic feel to it. Overall the movie just felt really just unique and weird in a way so far from watching all these Bond movies. And I suppose it was interesting seeing all the kind of Jamaica and like black people's kind of culture and stuff. So it was interesting to see that in the movie. But overall, it just had a really weird, kind of really quirky and weird characters and really weird villains as well. And yeah, overall, it was just a very unique and weird movie. So it's quite a strange way of putting it. So a bit of an update on my binge eating. So 2 weeks ago, I was on a diet again, and I did manage to get back to the 240 pounds. But then last week, I just kind of craved into the binge eating again and started just having a lot of unhealthy, fatty sort of foods and buying a lot of like chocolate and stuff myself. So unfortunately, I have gained about 5 pounds again, and yeah, it's just I'm not really a huge fan of this routine, like getting back to the 240 pounds and then just binge eating again and then having to get back to the 240 pounds. It's just not a healthy feeling for me. It still comes from a lot of the comfort eating and stuff as well to manage my mental health. And I suppose increasing the medication has increased my appetite as well, so that's made it a bit more difficult to control my binge eating. And yeah, I just don't feel healthy in myself having all of these unhealthy binge eating, and makes it difficult for me to breathe as well. Like it feels like I can literally feel my body just getting fatter and putting on weight. So yeah, I've really got to manage and control my binge eating more. It's just difficult, you know? Like, I'm still keeping to the diet of only having dinner once a day, but then shortly before bedtime, I still just crave into the binge eating. So yeah, I just gotta manage the before bedtime binge eating part really. If I can manage that, then I should be okay with losing weight and, managing my binge eating. But it is difficult because it's just an unhealthy solution I found for managing my mental health. And again, like I said, increasing the tablets has made it a bit harder as well. But yeah, I just got to try my best and summon more of my willpower to manage my binge eating really. So this package has just arrived and it's pretty heavy, and it's also from Amazon, so I have a pretty good idea what's inside here. It should be the books, my own books that I've ordered. So yeah, let's unbox it together. Got the just go through like that. This is actually, even though I have my own books printed for myself anyway, it's still quite exciting to open this box to have hopefully all my books inside. So there we go. Yep, it's definitely my books. Wow, there's all my books there. So they seem to be arrived in good condition. So yeah, that's my first book. I've actually don't have my own printed book of this version of Room 8 with this cover, so this is actually my first time seeing this edition physically. So yeah, I'm quite liking the look of it. I sound quite biased, I know, but still, it's just a bit of an achievement to see my own work printed in physical form, I guess. And then my children's book. And then also, I don't have my own version of this edition of Room 8 Part 2. So it's my first time seeing it in person. So it looks pretty cool. And then the same thing with Room 8 Part 3. My first time seeing it in this edition. I think overall it's turned out quite well. I think the cover looks like the colours of it look a bit dark, but I suppose, you know, that fits with the tone of the book, I guess. And then more of my children's book. More Room 8. This should be, there we go, my adult book. So again, first time seeing it in this edition with the new cover. Looks like it's turned pretty well. And then this should be, yeah, my most recent book that I've written. Yeah, so I've ordered about 3 versions of each book. So yeah, it's quite cool to see all my work that I've spent putting in all these books all in one place together like this. And yeah, I mentioned in my previous video that the hospital does accept self-published books, and they've actually encouraged it as well. So I'll be donating at least one of each of my books to the hospital, and then I'll see if I can donate some to my local library and then some charity shops as well. So yeah, there's all my published books, and again, it's quite a big achievement to see all my work in physical form like this. And yeah, whenever I'm free and I'm heading out, then I would like to be donating these books to various places. Hopefully it goes well. So I just watched through The Man with the Golden Gun, and I thought this movie was alright. I think so far it probably has the easiest story to understand, because I find most of them just really hard to follow, and I think with this one it was a bit more easier to follow. I think it was more of a simpler story. It's just mainly just between 2 guys, and yeah, it's mainly just about Bond chasing an assassin who uses a golden gun, and it almost feels like a very compact sort of story between the two. And yeah, I think the villain, I found him quite interesting. Like, he was a very sort of laid back sort of villain. Like he can be really serious, but then at times you see him, he's just very laid back, so it kind of keeps you guessing what he's up to. But I thought the finale was a bit underwhelming. I thought the way that the movie ended felt a bit, lacked a bit to be desired. But overall, I thought the movie was okay. I definitely do like the theme, and then the instrumental theme that plays throughout the movie as well was quite nice. So yeah, overall, I thought the movie was okay. So I just watched through The Spy Who Loved Me, and it was okay. Like it felt like a very personal story between Bond and the other character, basically another agent. And there was some interesting kind of development between the two characters, first being kind of not really cooperating with each other, but then they kind of get a bit closer, but then something happens that kind of separates them, and then it kind of had this build up of what's going to happen in the end. But again, it just kind of felt, the ending just kind of felt a bit underwhelming, I suppose. And the villain itself, I don't know, like the main villain itself didn't really do a whole lot in the movie and didn't really leave much of an impression for me anyway. But it's also the movie that introduced Jaws, which is another iconic character from the Bond universe. And I always thought Jaws was only exclusive to Moonraker. So when I saw him debut in this movie, I was actually quite surprised. But so far from what I've seen of Jaws, I can't really see why he's so popular. Like, I get that he's got a bit of a unique feature to him, but other than that, I don't think he really did much in the overall movie and didn't really have that many iconic moments. So maybe all the cool things that he's known for, maybe he does all that in Moonraker. So before this movie, I thought it was okay. It did kind of drag on a little bit in certain parts, but it was okay. So I just watched through Moonraker and I thought it was okay. I thought the villain wasn't that interesting. Like, he didn't really have any iconic moments, and throughout the movie I understand what he's trying to do, but I don't know what his motivation is. As far as I'm aware, they don't really explain it in the movie. I mentioned the last movie I watched introduced Jaws, and he's also in Moonraker as well. And I don't know, like, again, he didn't really have too much iconic moments, and I'm still kind of struggling to see why he's such a popular character in the Bond universe. I suppose his character development and something that happens to him throughout the movie, I can kind of see why he kind of stands out as a character, I guess. But again, like, I guess as far as villains go, I suppose I wouldn't put him on the same level as I would put Goldfinger and Oddjob, I guess. But overall, I thought the movie overall was okay. So another update on my binge eating, and I weighed myself earlier today, and I've gone up to 230 £47. So I know I'm really losing control over my binge eating. But today my mum actually did kind of not confront me or get angry, but she did actually have quite a serious talk to me about my binge eating. And to be honest, I kind of felt I needed that conversation because I feel like, her expressing her concern for me now has kind of motivated me to kind of really keep more control over my binge eating. And I told her many times that I just can't help myself and that I just kind of, even when I'm not hungry, I just eat until I feel sick. And then, my mom just tells me like I can help it and, I'm in control over it. But, I know she's just like looking out for me and stuff. But I suppose not everyone can really understand what a person going through binge eating is unless they experience it themselves, I guess. But in any case, even though she did have a serious talk with me, I am actually glad that she did, because now I feel more obligated to really stick to my diet and manage my binge eating despite the medication making it more difficult. So yeah, hopefully I'll have more willpower to stick to it and hopefully it goes well for me. So I guess that's pretty much it for this week, so hopefully I'll see you next Saturday. That's it for this video. My name is Hoiman, and please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And remember, always look forward, keep hope alive, and remember, you're somebody.